What if I'm the bottleneck? And what if I don't even know it? That's not an easy question to ask, especially if you've spent your career becoming the person that everybody else depends upon, the one who solves the toughest problems, the one who makes the biggest decisions, the one who carries the most responsibility. For years, those strengths probably fueled your success. But leadership has a way of changing the rules. The very strengths that help you climb the ladder can quietly also become the things that limit your team once you're at the top. Not because you're a bad leader, but because every level of leadership eventually asks you to become a different leader, one that is more intuitive and changing. If you've watched the first two videos, you've heard me talk about belief, biology, and behavior. And this is where all of that becomes very, very personal. Because eventually, every leader reaches a moment where the real question isn't, how do I fix my team? The real question is more likely, what if I'm the one they're waiting on? That's the kind of people who I work with. Usually, they're vice presidents, CEOs, founders, business owners. Many come from life sciences, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, agricultural, medical diagnostics, private equity-backed companies, or maybe they're just humans wanting to get better. They're intelligent, analytical, successful by almost every measure. They've read all the books, they've attended the leadership programs, they've worked with executive coaches, they've joined peer groups, and really, none of that was wasted. In fact, much of it actually helped. But despite all of that, the same pattern keeps showing up when the pressure is the highest. Maybe it's needing to have the answer. Maybe it's stepping back into the work that you've already delegated. Maybe it's avoiding the conversation that you know you need to have, but sends shudders up your spine. Maybe it's carrying everyone else's stress until there's nothing left for you or your own family. The pattern changes. The pressure changes, but somehow the result stays remarkably familiar. Then life presents a decision that's bigger than a strategy. Should I stay or should I leave? Should I scale this company or should I sell it? Can I actually trust someone else with this level of responsibility? Or maybe the question is, who am I if I'm no longer the one carrying everything? You see, those aren't just business questions. They're leadership questions. And underneath them, they're deeply human questions. If you're willing to explore those questions, then we'll probably work really well together. But let me tell you who this probably isn't for. If you're looking for a workshop just simply on delegation or a skill, or better meeting structure, or a framework built for difficult conversations, there are a lot of excellent programs out there that can teach you those skills. You don't need me for that. If you're looking for a quick fix, or hoping that someone will hand you a playbook that works for everyone, well, then this probably also won't be a good fit. And if you only want to change the behavior without becoming curious about what's driving it, then you're probably going to end right back where you started. That's simply how human beings work. But when real leaders do this kind of work, something remarkable begins to happen. You see, their teams stop waiting for permission and they start bringing solutions. High pressure meetings no longer feel like performances rehearsed for months in advance. The calendar begins to create space again because everything no longer depends upon one person. Accountability becomes part of the culture instead of something the leader constantly has to enforce. And conversations about succession stop feeling threatening because the leader no longer needs to be indispensable to know that they're also valuable. That's the kind of transformation, human transformation, that I'm after. Not simply helping someone become a better leader, but helping them become the kind of leader whose presence allows everyone else to become better too. There are 3 ways that we can work together. The first is what I call the 30-day leadership lab. This is designed for leaders facing one significant decision that feels bigger than tactics or strategy. Over the course of about a month, we create the kind of clarity that you need to move forward with confidence. The second is what I call the 90-day intensive. And candidly, this is where most leaders begin. Together, we uncover the recurring pattern, we understand the beliefs, and we dive into the biology that's driving it. and build a different way of leading that doesn't disappear the next time pressure shows up. The third way, which I call the annual partnership. And truly, this is where the deepest transformation happens. In the safety of a year-long container, we don't just change the habits, we reshape the way that you lead, the way your team experiences you, and ultimately the legacy that you're building. No matter which path seems right for you, they all begin the very same way. A simple 30-minute conversation. Not a sales pitch, not a presentation, not closing with some high-pressure offer, just two people deciding whether we're the right fit to work together. Sometimes we'll decide that we are, and sometimes we'll decide that we're not. Either way, you are going to walk away with greater clarity. If you've watched all three of these videos and you found yourself thinking, he's describing me, don't ignore that small voice. Patterns are rarely going to disappear on their own. They simply become more expensive. If you're ready to find out if you're the bottleneck, and more importantly, what to do about it, you'll find a link in the description in the pinned comment below. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to learn about your situation. I'm Jim Bishop. Thanks for being here.